welcome back. And today we're going to finish up the 3.2 with multiplying polynomials today. Okay, we've already kind of talked about this with the last assignment we did, but we're going to get a little bit deeper into it today. So how do we multiply these polynomials here? When you have a trinomial and a binomial, you can either choose to distribute from the left or distribute to the right. It doesn't matter. You can either distribute the two binomials to the trinomial, or you can take each of these three terms and distribute to the binomial. It doesn't really matter. Just keep track of your terms. Okay, so we take our 2m times 3m squared. 2 times 3 is 6, and m times m squared is m cubed. Okay, and then we'll take and go 2m times negative 4m gives me a negative 8m squared. And then, of course, our 2m times our 2 gives me a positive 4m. All right. Then I will take my 5 and distribute that to my first term. So it'll be plus 15m squared. Then I'll have my 5 times negative 4m will give me a negative 20m. And then I'll have my 5 times positive 2, which will give me a positive 10. From here, we want to just start combining our terms. And so I start with my highest power, 6m cubed. And then I'll go with my squared terms, 8 and 15 will give me a positive 7m squared. Then I have my single m term, positive 4 and negative 20m will give me a negative 16m. And then last but not least, we have my singular number term out there, positive 10. Always making sure I get all of my terms accounted for. That's the biggest trick, is when you have a lot of string of terms, long string of terms, you can lose some terms out there. So make sure you have all your terms accounted for. Okay, so let's do one more here. How do I multiply these polynomials? You might want to pause this and do this on your own and come back and see how you do. And this one you can multiply in any order. You could multiply m plus 1 times m minus 2 first, or you could multiply m minus 2 times m plus 4. The most important part is you get them all multiplied together. Okay, I kind of like to start from the right-hand side over here and multiply these guys together. And so this will give me my m squared plus 4m minus 2m minus 8. It's a squared term here. Okay, and then I always make sure I have my other guy here tagging along, m plus 1. All right, so now I have my m plus 1 here, and I'm going to simplify this guy. Will be m squared plus 2m minus 8. Okay, then I will distribute these guys here. So m times m squared is m cubed. M times 2m gives me a positive 2m squared. M times negative 8 gives me a negative 8m. And then I'll come up here to the top. Let's go to a different color here. So I'm going to come 1 times m squared gives me a positive m squared. 1 times 2m gives me a positive 2m. And of course, 1 times negative 8 gives me a negative 8. Then I just have to go through and combine all my like terms. So I have a singular m cubed. I have an m squared and a 2m squared, leaving me with a 3m squared. And I have a negative 8m and a positive 2m, which gives me a negative 6m. And then last but not least, of course, is my negative 8 there hanging on at the end, leaving me with m cubed plus 3m squared minus 6m minus 8. Okay, so the biggest thing here is it's not super hard. It's just kind of tedious. Make sure you keep track of your terms. All right. All right. So again, you might want to just pause this, try it on your own, see how you do, come back. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pick a couple of binomials here to multiply first. I like these guys here. So I'm just going to go x squared minus 2x plus 4x minus 8. Keep my x minus 7 out there. And then I will simplify this, x squared plus 2x minus 8. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and distribute x cubed plus 2x squared minus 8x. And then I'll go ahead and grab this guy up here. Let's go ahead and grab red. We'll go with negative 7x squared minus 14x. And then minus, or I guess that would be a plus, 56. Okay. Now let's go ahead and combine all of our like terms. We have our x cubed all by itself. We have a couple of squared terms here, so a negative 5x squared. And then we have negative 8x and negative 14x. What does that give us? A negative 22x. And then we have our lone positive 56 at the end. And there we have our cubic polynomial of 4 terms. Okay? All right, so now we're going to put a little application to this. Okay, Carolina makes wind chimes to sell at the local street market. As Carolina produces a greater number of wind chimes, she can lower the price unit. The function v of x equals 48 minus 2x relates the price v to the number produced x. The cost c of making x wind chimes, so the number of x wind chimes, can be represented with the function c of x equals 12x plus 64. So down here we have this price we don't know, we're going to call this x, right? Times the number of units sold. Actually the price, sorry, no that's not right. The price here is going to be, I'm going to give it some color here. The price here is going to be 48 minus 2x, okay? So that's my price v here is going to be 48 minus 2x times however many I sold. This is going to be x. Okay, so that represents my revenue. That's what my revenue is right here. Okay, so this p of x, some function p of x is going to equal my revenue, r of x function, minus my cost, c of x. I don't know what that is. This c of x function. Okay, so my price, p of x, is going to be, we just determined that this is what my revenue is right here, my r of x. We kind of calculated that. So that's going to be my 48x, oh my gosh, I can't write. 48 minus 2x times x, and then minus my c of x is 12x plus 64. Okay? And so if I come over here, that's what this is right here. Okay? If we simplify that, we're going to just distribute this x through here. So I have 48x minus 2x squared. And we have to distribute this negative as well. Okay, so remember anytime we have a negative outside of parentheses, we have to distribute that as well. So this will be negative 12x minus 64. So watch out for that, okay? So I have p of x equals, put our highest power first, so negative 2x squared. And then 48x minus 12x will give us a positive 36x, and then minus 64. So here is our function for her profit. It's a profit function. And this is the graph for the profit function over here. Okay? And if we graph this, this is what it looks like as my vertex. So basically with 9 wind chimes, right? 9 wind chimes is my x-axis over here. She makes a profit of $98. That's my vertex. And I think some people are having a problem with that still, interpreting that. It's really important to know how to interpret these. My domain is going to end right here because we're not going to sell negative wind chimes. We're not going to make a negative profit, right? So this part of the graph, we're not going to pay attention to. We're just going to go up to 16 wind chimes. That's it. And 2 wind chimes. We're not going to sell anything less than 2 wind chimes because we're going to go in the hole. Okay, we don't want to do that. All right. And our max profit we can make is $98. And so we want to sell 9 wind chimes in order to make the most amount of money. Okay. All right. So you guys have an assignment. It shouldn't be too long. It's in Google Classroom. This is just kind of a concept summary on how to add, subtract, and multiply polynomials. Okay. And then your assignment is in Google Classroom. It is in Excel again. So don't forget to attach all of your work, even the ones that are just multiple choice. I want to see them just like it was out of the book. Okay. So write down every problem. 2.2 Excel, and then I will see you all in the next Zoom. Have a great day.